Well, hello. This is Dave again. And lately, I've been reminiscing about my experience in kindergarten. And I'd like to share that with you. Well, what can I say? Well, I do remember my first day of kindergarten. It was a bit of an overwhelming experience, like being stuck in a room with 20 or 25 strange kids. Um, there was a bit of anxiety involved. Um, I didn't take too well being separated from my parents for a long time, and I remember right around the end of the day being in tears. Like I started crying. The teacher had to sit me on her knee and try to comfort me. And well, yeah, I guess I was different from the other kids in that classroom. I was much more quiet. Wasn't really sociable. um, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, luckily I did have a playmate in my neighborhood where I grew up. That was stuck in the same kindergarten class as me, so I thought that was a bonus. But I pretty much hung around her, pretty much like her shadow. Like I always wanted to be close by her, and if there were certain activities when the teacher wanted to separate the girls from the boys, like I always wanted to be with her and the girls, and I had to be redirected to sit with the boys. And this happened a few times, and I was kind of thinking about that, like she was smothered with that over attention or whatever, like she wanted to make friends of her own, which she had no trouble doing, and well, I did. And there were times when the teacher would ask me questions, and I wouldn't know how to respond. Like I would just sit and stare at her. Um, I also had to go in for like a behavior and development assessment at the BC Children's Hospital and find out what was going on here. And I'd like to read to you my behavior and development assessment. I guess this is a typical report of kids in growing up in the late 70s, early 80s that had Asperger syndrome, but there was no diagnosis till a decade and a half later. Okay, so this was my assessment. I had adequate hearing. Number two, I had significant language processing disorders. In language skills, I was functioning at 3 years of age. Extreme emotional insecurity, exhibiting some autistic like behavior in stressful situations. Apparently, I have improved recently after starting kindergarten. Well, about that, I don't think there was much of an improvement yet, but as time wore on, I seem to have developed with stressful situations a little better. But there are times when I do get stressed out, and but I manage. In nonverbal cognitive areas, he exhibited scattered development ranging from 3 to 5 years. I had a normal physical examination, and my recommendations were continue kindergarten placement this year. They encourage both teacher and parents to emphasize in developing gross and fine motor skills. Suggestions were made to my parents to stimulate language and communication at home. Well, I say I have vastly improved over the years, but it still has proven to be a challenge. Um, Reassessment was arranged in 6 months' time, and I had to endure another semester of kindergarten. And yeah, I went through 2 years of kindergarten. Apparently, after the first session, I wasn't ready to go into grade school yet. And unfortunately, there was no official diagnosis. There was suggestions of autism, but they couldn't really pinpoint it because I don't think I had full-blown autism. And yeah, I also like to mention I attended kindergarten in a one-room schoolhouse. And let me care to explain. This one-room schoolhouse what served as my elementary school's kindergarten. Like the elementary school was situated about 2 blocks south from the property of that one-room schoolhouse. And so yeah, I had that retro schoolhouse experience, and I didn't really appreciate it at the time. And when I reflect on that, well, I thought that was kind of enriching as far as I'm concerned. And yeah, so after 2 years of retro schoolhousing, um, and it was determined I was a special needs kid. I guess there had to be some sort of program that was suitable for me when I entered grade 1. And I'd like to share that with you in my next video. And so I bid you goodbye.